Oh, one other thing. I have to ask the company, was there any other drill of a similar nature that was sold in Jamaica recently? We have the answers, and that will surprise you when it comes out soon.
Bless up, baby, our family and viewers. Welcome back to the channel. It's your girl, Isabel Rhodes. And in this one, medical technologies and Member of Parliament for Central Kingston, Donovan Williams, has gone ahead and filed lawsuit against Dr. Alfred Dawes over concerns of the multi-million-dollar neurosurgical drill, as well as another businessman, Cries. Stay tuned for the details at hand. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. So, kicking off the first segment, ABR family and viewers, Dr. Alfred Dawes, who highlighted the concerns surrounding this multi-million-dollar drill, has now been put before the courts via medical technologies, as well as the MP Donovan Williams. And so he raised concerns about the costing of this drill, and we see it for herself where this drill is not worth $30-odd million at all. The Minister of Health says we shouldn't focus on the cost, but Dr. Alfred Dawes is adamant that he is on to something. And I would have thought that medical technologies as well as the MP would have come with, clarity. Even the Southeast Regional Health Authority, that Sarah, would have come with, clarity for the Jamaican people surrounding this issue. We see that 2 of the 3 have gone ahead with their lawsuit. And I am glad that it has gone to the courts, because we the people deserve to know the truth. We the people deserve accountability, and we want this to hash out in the right and proper way. But I'm going to let you hear from Alfred Dawes, and in this clipping, he says there's more to come.
So from this drill saga started, the Jamaica Labour Party and their operatives, they have tried to report me to the medical council. They have threatened me with not 1, not 2, but 3 lawsuits. Now they're reporting me to the political ombudsman. I don't know what they're going to do next to try and stop me. I can assure you, I am not suicidal, but they're going to continue to try and damage my name, damage my reputation, because that's how they work. So I need you to understand why I firmly believe the process for the procurement of this drill was flawed. So come into my class. Welcome to Procurement 101. And today we're going to learn how you can use loopholes in the system to buy a $3 million drill for $31 million and still say that the process is above board. So the procurement process starts with a request from the end users, the doctors who are going to be using the drill. They write up a request. It goes to prepare a tender document with all the specifications of that drill that is needed to perform the functions that they require as the end user. A public advertisement is placed in the papers and the media in general, and from that, bids from registered suppliers are submitted. In this case, a bid for $12 million, $31.5 million, and $50 million were submitted. These bids went to an evaluation committee where they look back at the tender document to see whether or not the drills can perform the functions that the end users wanted in the initial request. In this case, the $12 million drill was excluded, leaving the doctors, the biomed engineers, and the procurement personnel to choose between a $31.5 million drill and a $50 million drill. Obviously, the choice would have come down to the way cheaper drill that was $31.5 million. This evaluation committee made a recommendation that was sanctioned by the Public Procurement Committee that certified that this process is above board, and after that, the contract was awarded. The problem is this. During the process, this part that nobody speaks about, that has been intentionally dismissed and hidden, is where the corruption occurred. Because someone did an internal costing and determined that this drill that anyone can see online for close to about $3 to $4 million was valued at $32 million. Nobody can explain who came up with that costing and how they arrived at that costing. Or how is it that Medical Technologies Limited was able to come in right under that $32 million bid? Now, this internal costing is important because if it were a reasonable cost and the bids were way out, the process would have to be aborted and resent to tendering again. But having this high cost for that $3 million drill by Sarah from the persons who did internal costing allowed any bidder to bid close to $32 million. And in this case, when it was reviewed by the Public Procurement Committee, they actually saw that the $31.5 million was a 2% discount to what those folks at Sarah had predicted the drill would cost. So therefore, not knowing anything at all about the drill and the market price, because that was not their task, these committees, they said that this drill was value for money. And this is why you're not being told about the internal costing, because that is where the whole process was compromised. Do your research. You understand how it happened now. Oh, one other thing. I have to ask the company, was there any other drill of a similar nature that was sold in Jamaica recently? We have the answers, and that will surprise you when it comes out soon.
Now in this segment, we've seen a Richard Pandui, the CEO of Seprod, coming out now crying that business community is feeling the blunt of what is going on currently with our economy being in recession and the facade that this government has been putting on. He is the second businessman I've heard so far coming out, apart from Omar Azan, who spoke out twice, that the country is about to blow if they don't do something, and they're urging the Prime Minister to call the general election and let the people go to the polls and decide who they want to lead the country. And I'm going to hear this small clipping when we have from Sir Pandui, as well as Ralston Hyman spoke on these issues weeks ago, and even the opposition spokesperson on finance with his plans for the micro, small and medium enterprises, that they're willing to give them a 3-year tax relief.
Close to 2 months after the 10% tariff on goods exported from Jamaica to the United States took effect, Chief Executive Officer of the Seprod Group, Richard Pandui, says from a supply chain standpoint, the impact on manufacturers has been worse than during the COVID-19 pandemic. Mr. Pandui says his company has been trying to find alternative markets. Describing supply chain shocks during and post-COVID as a nightmare, the Seprod CEO says businesses are having a harder time sourcing and receiving products.
During COVID, a lot of production went down, so supplies were actually available. Some commodity price went through the roof, obviously, but the fact is that the reality of today, and I've been saying this for at least a year and a half, 2 years now, that our supply chain disruptions are actually worse now.
So who's most at risk now? MSMEs?
The MSMEs are always at risk. I mean, the smaller you are, the bigger your risking, right?
Chief Executive Officer of Seprod Group Richard Pandui responding to Smile Jamaica host Simone Clark. He says Jamaican manufacturers are in wait-and-see mode whether U.S. consumers will purchase their goods at increased costs.
The consumers in the U.S. are facing price increase on a number of items, from their electronics to this, whatever. They're going to look at their basket and say, boy, should I buy Supergen? Is that necessity or is that nice to have? Maybe instead of picking up 3, they pick up 1. So right now, I'm just coming from the U.S. last week, meeting a lot of the CEOs of different companies. Everybody, they've asked us first, absorb it. Of course, you can absorb it.
Yeah, that's what.
For example, the lobster comes from Jamaica. First thing, absorb it. We cannot absorb it. And therefore, the price has been passed through for the most part. And there's a waiting to see how the consumers react. My feeling is that the volumes will come down. We're going to have to find a way to either be more productive and have more production so we can drive our unit costs down to kind of cushion that price. Look new markets, our next approach, and also look at our supply chain and see if we can bring in stuff to actually reduce our costs.
Long as it's the same friends in the business community, the institutions and the people who manage pension money and all of those. Right now, they have no confidence, and that is why they are giving the Bank of Jamaica all their money to lock up in the vaults and earn 6.5% per annum, because they know As long as we continue on the current trajectory, given what is happening internationally, the economy is going to continue to shrink, continue to go down, unless there's a change in policy. And right now, they haven't heard anything sensible from Trayvon Williams, and they haven't heard anything sensible from Albany, and they haven't heard anything sensible from the Prime Minister, apart from cussing everybody who are trying to analyze the economy in a sensible way.
Is there a lack of talent in the government, Ralston? Because a country has many moving parts, and you can't just focus on one or two things. Everything has to be monitored. Do you believe that this government is monitoring all the things that needs to be monitored?
No. The Prime Minister has too much responsibility, and he doesn't have the capacity to carry out those responsibilities. And as I said before, Trayvon Williams is the worst finance minister. They are the top faces of the government. Kamina Johnson doesn't understand international trade. Yes, so you see the problem we have. The top four, they don't understand what is happening globally.
We also spoke about how we can incentivize businesses. We want businesses to be the backbone of our growth. And when we look at our businesses, our micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises are the foundation of that growth. We're saying we're going to give them incentives. For the first 3 years of the operation, we're going to waive corporate income tax. Now, why are we doing this? Many MSMEs stay outside the formal system to avoid paying tax. We want them to come into the formal system, but we're saying go there, grow your business, sell your services, sell your goods, and you don't have to worry about corporate income tax for the first 3 years. We're also saying we're going to ensure that you have good access to DBJ money. There's DBJ money, but the way it is structured, many of them can't access it. Why? Because the fees, the upfront fees that are required, for example, if you take out a $10 million loan, 5% fees, right? $500,000, you may not be in a position to find that money up front. We're saying we're going to put that at the back end of the loan, extend the payment cycle so that you don't have to find the money up front and you can access the money. When I sit in Parliament, it bothers me that there's so many occasions where we have to return money that is allocated to the DBJ because people can't access it. So we want to make government more efficient. We want to provide the support for all micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises that they can grow. They're the engine of growth.
Go ahead and share your thoughts in the comment section. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel on the road to 30K. Help me to get there. Get this video to at least 7,000 likes. Stay tuned for more videos. Stay tuned for more updates. Big up on yourself. Happy Tuesday.
It's the infusion of confusion is illusion. Now we have to make a decision. Here we are no mix up in a violence. We no speak them nonsense. Have a free of my conscience. Rastafari we evidence will. Here we are no mix up in a violence. We no speak them nonsense. Have a free of my conscience. Here Selassie we evidence.